Hi everyone, I'm Heather McIlvaine, Managing Editor of Features and Premium at Inside Retail, and I'm delighted to be bringing you an exciting new series from Shopline. Retail has undergone a period of intense change in recent years, and while this disruption has created untold opportunities, it has also presented challenges around cutting through the noise of increased competition, meeting expectations of omnichannel retail offerings, and forging truly meaningful connections with customers to drive lifetime value. In this series, we'll explore how retailers can best navigate these challenges and why having the right partners on board is key to success at a time when consumers are tightening their spending and the cost of doing business is going up. Today, we'll be discussing why omnichannel is no longer enough and why retailers must embrace unified commerce to succeed in today's competitive environment. Here with me today are Peter Lodewijks, owner of Zimpul, and Jon Levy, country manager for smart commerce platform Shopline Australia. Welcome to both of you, and thanks for joining.
Thanks for having us, Heather.
Yes, thanks for having us.
Great. Well, very, very pleased to have you. I want to start by discussing the difference between omnichannel and unified commerce. Jon, if we could start with you, how would you define unified commerce, and why do you think retailers need to embrace it over omnichannel?
Great. This is a topic that I speak to all the time. So omnichannel was a significant step forward in expanding the ability to sell in store, multiple channels online, marketplaces, social platforms, really by connecting multiple platforms together. Unified commerce takes that step forward by leveraging one single platform to run what needs to be a modern retail business. So at Shopline, a platform like ours is purpose-built for that purpose, and for sales channels to become more customer touch points that really work together in ways that align the business, to really use each channel to grow others and let them really work together to grow the overall profits of the business. So a traditional e-com platform, which is focused on online, would not be really incentivized to help you drive sales in store using point of sale. And point of sale providers traditionally wouldn't be incentivized to leverage online, as they would then miss out on taking a clip of that order. So with multi-channel, you may be able to connect the two systems together, but it'll be left up to the merchant and their engineers or their agencies to really provide all the features and functionality that's needed to get them to really operate efficiently together, and then of course to maintain them over time. So another aspect of it is that merchants don't want to maintain product categories, catalogs in multiple platforms, pricing, customer information. If you have it in multiple areas, it's hard to access for certain operational requirements. So that complex often results in ongoing costs and to maintain those separate systems. So really, what Amazon has and other advanced retailers, they've created experiences that in the eyes of the customer seem very easy and simple, and they quickly become the expectations for the market. In essence, when someone has a really good experience in market, that experience now becomes their expectation for all merchants going forward. So this will continue to increase over time, especially now with AI. Retailers looking to modernize or scale their business need to embrace unified commerce over omnichannel to really lower the effort needed to adopt new trends and meet the expectations of customers going forward.
Thanks for giving that overview, Jon. Peter, I'd love to hear from your perspective what you think the difference is between omnichannel and unified commerce, and why is unified commerce in particular coming to the fore right now?
Yeah, good question. I think omnichannel traditionally focus on front-end alignment across all channels. With unified commerce now, we extend that to the back end. So the front end, what the customer sees, and the back end, what the customer doesn't really see. But having all that data from front and back in the one place, we can do some exciting stuff. So getting that single view of a customer's interaction with the retailer in the past was always difficult. We had multiple systems, multiple places, and nowadays internet speeds have improved, the cloud has appeared, SaaS products have arrived, and brands have a tendency now to implement off-premise type solutions. So it has become far easier to connect all those and to create, I guess, a stack that has single data, single source of truth in one place, which you can then use for all sorts of purposes.
Yeah, I think that's really interesting. And I think it sounds like there are some nuanced differences as well. I can imagine some of the people listening right now are hearing words like multi-channel, omni-channel, unified commerce, and they might think, oh, this is just another retail buzzword. They all are the same thing, basically. What's really new here? So I want to dig into this on a little bit more of a practical level. And Jon, I think you alluded to some of the things that retailers can do with unified commerce. Can you provide some examples of how retailers can use unified commerce to do something that would be very difficult to do otherwise?
Sure. The answer to that could be quite extensive, and there's so many different applications. But simplistically, I'll maybe just allude to a few. Features like returning online purchases in store. Sounds like it should be quite easy to do. Buy something online and there's a store, the same brand. Let me go and return it in store and there should be no issues. But there are, in terms of the operational requirements needed from the merchant, that if you don't have things like multi-location inventory, it becomes an operational nightmare to receive that inventory in the store and then have that seamlessly integrate back into the inventory systems that the merchant may be using. So things like buy online and return in store, gift cards across channels, improved marketing understanding of customers, ability to leverage new services more rapidly and easily. Those are just a few. But it comes down to that the customer expectation is that they're dealing with a brand, they're dealing with a retailer, whether they're online, whether they're in store or anywhere else. They see that your brand as being one. They don't understand that the complexities involved behind the scenes to create these amazing experiences that seem really easy, but really aren't unless you have that unified data solution. Another aspect is that for just more operationally or on the marketing side, to be able to attribute in-store sales to online marketing activities is powerful, not only for you to understand the return on investment, but also to create similar audiences for your customers based on who's visiting your store, not just about who's going onto your website. So by having all that data unified, we make it possible by working with our partners such as Meta and others to enable that data integration. With real-time inventory, you can also present options for click and collect, making sure that inventory is available in that store, or shipping an item from the closest store using that same logic, so that when you do ship from a store, you're effectively lowering the shipping costs because the distance involved in the delivery is shortened, and that also creates a great experience because I can now maybe even deliver same day or much faster, and let's not also forget about the environmental impact that it has and shorten the distance of that delivery. That carbon footprint is obviously minimized. So those are a few of the practical examples, but the list is quite extensive.
It's really interesting, as you said, these are customer expectations now, and certainly I know a lot of retailers offer things like click and collect, but as you point out, it's not always easy to do, and probably behind the scenes it looks a bit messier than maybe it could or should. Looking, I guess, now more at areas where retailers aren't really making the most, I guess, of what they could be. Peter, can you talk a little bit about the loyalty and personalization side of things? Because I think you see a big opportunity for unified commerce to really play to its strengths there.
Yes, I think loyalty and personalization are big ones and hot topics at the moment. I think everybody's speaking about those. Again, in the past, retailers often had to work across multiple systems, often outdated data perhaps, or data that wasn't synced across various places. And it wasn't unheard of to sometimes manually update systems, which I think is still happening in places. So for a customer to have perhaps a loyalty card or whatever that doesn't work in one place, but it does somewhere else, is very frustrating. So Unified makes that a lot easier when that data is all in the one place. And so whether you're using your card here, there, or anywhere, it's always updated. Makes a lot of sense. In terms of personalization, I think to be able to adjust or serve content online based on customers' previous interactions, not only online, but also what they have done in store, perhaps. You can adjust that to time of day, or the time of year, or the locations. I think a lot of e-commerce sites are not quite ready for that. It's still a challenge, and I think Unified makes a lot of that a lot easier and possible, which is very exciting.
Final words from you, Jon, on some of the practical applications for this?
Yeah, I would just maybe add that it's not just about having access to the data, but really utilizing that data in a way that's going to grow revenue across all your channels. So going beyond what's possible for that sales channel to do independently on their own. So engaging with customers is one aspect, including gamification. Make sure you reward people for their behavior. If they, whether it's on social media, if they follow your pages, if they make referrals, having that all acknowledged, and when they interact with your business, creating those opportunities to really just connect and engage wherever they may be engaging with your business.
Absolutely. Focusing on the customer experience is absolutely critical, and something I know that a lot of retailers are very focused on. But equally, I'm intrigued, Peter, by what you mentioned about some of the manual tasks that retailers are still doing to just make these customer experience features and services appear seamless, when in fact a lot of hard work is going on in the back end, and maybe it's not as efficient as it could be. So I'd love to hear any other areas where you see there's room for improvement in back end operations. Are there possibilities for increased efficiency that retailers can tap into with some of these more modern unified commerce platforms?
Yeah, definitely. I think there's a few things to think of here. Systems management, having one unified stack rather than all these multiple bits and pieces hanging off each other, makes that a lot easier, I think, for the perhaps the IT guys or whoever are involved in managing that. Product management, pricing, discounts, stock, all handled centrally, out of stock or in stock, is all available from the one spot, which then I think results in efficiencies in customer service. Handling queries that traditionally centered around frustration, where's my order, or why is this in stock but it's not in stock. Those kind of things can disappear almost, and become more of a pleasant experience rather than a frustrating one for the customer. Internally, financial management, payment processing, reconciling. I'm sure the accounts departments will find it a lot easier to reconcile from one spot than multiple. Refunds and the status of refunds, I think, is all again in the one spot. And most importantly, for management, real time, quick reporting rather than waiting till the 15th of the next month to receive your reports on sales and costs and profits. I think that can all be sped up quite significantly.
Yeah, I'm sure a lot of people working in retail would love to have that kind of data at their fingertips when they need to make a decision. Jon, anything you want to add here around what could be possible to improve?
Yeah, so just touching on what you spoke about before, you'll be amazed how much manual processing actually takes place in major retailers today, not just SMEs or mid-market, but really some of the bigger ones where, they're actually manually updating gift card information. If it's bought in store, then they go to their e-com platform and they have to manually input it there. And once it gets used, the same process that needs to happen. This is all time and effort, and also the chance of mistakes happening that lead to poor performance and really just wasted time where those resources could be used in doing other things for the business. So yeah, it's quite interesting to see. Another big use case for us is memberships. So if you do have a membership program, let it be universal in store, online, at point of sale. Let the customer actually type in their mobile number themselves, so that there's no chance of any error that maybe gets captured if someone's speaking through what their details are. And once that's in place, you have an opportunity not only to reward or engage with a customer in store, but when they come online, they can leverage all those loyalty points in terms of discounts and various other incentives that you have in place that really make them feel connected to your brand. So yeah, there's companies like the Lego store where you're actually purchasing memberships from those brands. That gives you access to new features or advantages when you go into store, discounts, or even experiences in theme parks and mobile apps. So really, with a unified commerce solution, you can extend that to really quite unique customer experiences.
That sounds great. On that note, though, I'm curious to hear your thoughts, Jon, on why more retailers then aren't taking advantage of all of the possibilities of unified commerce. What are some of the biggest challenges you hear or hesitations you hear from retailers that haven't yet made the switch? And as retailers, for the ones that are considering a unified commerce platform, what are some of the most important things that you would recommend they consider?
Yeah, so really, when you're looking at this, you're dealing with a merchant who, over the last several years, could be 5+ years, they've developed processes and they've adapted their operations to what their current situation is, and their perception is that for them to really take the next step and modernize their platform, it's going to be a big project. It's going to take a lot of resources, a lot of time, and potentially even a high investment. But really, it's the opposite, I believe, and we see it all the time where it's a case where once we migrate the information to one place, and we actually can implement the solution very, very quickly and adapt it with our open APIs to any business solutions that are available. We have partners like Peter here who work with us closely to manage those projects and implement them in a very systematic way, which can lead to very fast turnarounds and realizing the benefits very quickly.
You mentioned open APIs. I'd love to understand a bit more about why that's an important part of the platform, or something that a retailer, before considering any platform, should be looking for ones that have an open API.
Well, really, it comes down to the fact that we have a very feature-rich platform. We're able to do a lot that other platforms can't do, but there are situations where we're not everything to everyone, and we are open, and that's an advantage. So to enable merchants to go beyond our internal capabilities, to open up for third-party developers to develop apps in our app store, and for agencies to integrate directly with our APIs, extends the possibilities to really anything, to leverage ERPs and other business systems to go beyond what we do as a platform. So that really creates an opportunity for merchants to be as creative and as focused on their particular business requirements as they need to. AI is also a big focus for us, and that's something which we're going to be very, very proactive with. We already have released a lot of features that really just create efficiencies and productivity for merchants, so that they can fast track a lot of those processes that they spend time doing. So things like SEO, product descriptions, marketing campaigns, even automated chatbots, not only online, but on social media platforms where there's questions and you respond to them more timely with real content generated answers that sound authentic. So using AI for social commerce is going to be an exciting opportunity to engage with customers in real time going forward.
I think AI is such an interesting space right now, and it's definitely, an area that is changing very quickly, and retailers probably don't even fully understand the impact that it could have on the industry. I imagine that there will be a lot of changes happening in that space over the years to come. That's actually, I think, sort of a common theme with technology, and something that I know a lot of businesses think about before investing in a technology, which is this going to last me for some years, or will it be outdated sort of as soon as I invest in it? So can I have you both reflect on, how a retailer can use unified commerce over the long term and stay open to some of the changes and innovations that will inevitably be coming in the years ahead? Jon, do you have any thoughts on that, maybe in the space of AI, or about how a retailer can just ensure that their platform, continues to stay innovative and relevant for the new technologies on the market?
Yeah. So really, you need to be set up for success. And what a unified commerce solution like Shopline provides you is that base that you know that you can rely on it for high performance websites, for point of sale, for social commerce, and marketplace integrations. And for you to then focus on your business and the growth opportunities, so that when these new trends emerge, you have the tools and the technology that can quickly adapt to it. So as a company, we have a lot of resources to continuously build out new functionality all the time. We release new features almost every 2 weeks, and that type of frequency gives you the comfort that we're continuously not only keeping up with trends, but setting trends in market. And with our open architecture, with our open APIs, there's a world of innovation that surrounds our ecosystem, and to leverage that within a platform that allows you to scale and integrate with those solutions in real time is obviously our biggest advantage in market.
Peter, do you have any thoughts or advice for how retailers can stay agile, or put the right foundation in place to enable that agility and ability to respond to new innovations in technology as they come into the market?
A very good question. Yes, it's important that the technology matches the strategy. It's not like a one-size-fits-all type scenario. First of all, is the strategy available? Is it right? And then look at what platforms or what's available to fit that strategy. Most of the modern providers provide similar type access. Some are open, some are closed, but the more open ones will set you up for flexibility and agility. The closed ones sort of lock you in a little bit more. So there are choices to be made for any retailer at that point. My advice would be choose the ones that leave you most agile and most flexible. So you're not locked in, you're not vendor locked in, and you are able to quickly respond to anything else that we don't even know yet that becomes available. Jon touched on the API stuff. That's obviously a huge development that's been going on for a number of years now. And most providers will start to make that sort of technology available. That means you are agile. That means you are flexible. That means you have a solid foundation that can scale when required, or that can adjust when required.
Yeah, no, definitely.
That's great advice. Thank you, guys. So unfortunately, we have to wrap it up, but I want to end with one final question, and that is to get each of you to weigh in on what you think the biggest misconception is about unified commerce. And also, if you could sum up the benefits in just one word, what would it be? So, Jon, let's start with you.
Well, I'll start with the one word, Maddie, and that one word would be empowered. With unified commerce, we want to empower our merchants to really be successful and give them the tools and the technology to scale their businesses and be successful. Their success is our success. Misconceptions of unified commerce is that it's just another version of Omnichannel, where really it's not. It's the ability to really scale your business by leveraging each of those sales channels to amplify your growth in ways that you wouldn't be able to do independently. So it's not just about letting me sell online, but it's about letting that online experience drive retail in store, and that's the misconception. Another misconception is that the cost to migrate and make the change is high. We have really, our success comes from the fact, especially entering a new market like Australia, is to make that transition as seamless and as effortless as possible. And some of that is what we've productized within our one-click migration solutions from other platforms to ours. But it's also working with industry leaders like Peter here, who can make that process as seamless as possible by planning out those projects and scoping out that work effectively.
Great. Peter, what would you say on these same questions?
From a misconception point of view, I have the same one as Jon just had as far as cost. I've got another one. Hard to do. That's more than one word, but I think it may seem overwhelming to embark on a project like that. It doesn't need to be. I think it's quite surprising sometimes, how quickly it can get really, really good results. From a benefit perspective, I think satisfaction. It's just taking away frustrations, not only from a client or customer perspective, but also an internal perspective. We all know, especially bigger type organizations, where certain things just get stuck. That doesn't need to be anymore. Stuff can be very quick. So I think there'll be a lot of satisfied people around the place.
Well, that's a really optimistic note to end on. So we'll leave it there. But thank you both, Jon and Peter, for joining me to discuss the opportunities around unified commerce. And for those watching, please make sure you check out the rest of the video series. Thanks.